Hello and welcome to another edition of the Touchline here with myself, Oarabile Diphoko, on this lovely Tuesday evening. I am not alone today. I do have a full panel. You guys have no idea how excited I am to see all these beautiful faces that are popping up on our screens right now. We have the ever-present Mr. Vince __92. Hi, sir. How are you?
And the God goes well. Yeah. Good to be here, Vile. Good to see you. Always good to see you on a Tuesday. And obviously, we're joined by two fine specimens who are well educated. Here we go. Introduce them.
You'd swear they got the memo, because even who the F is Kamukele went and got a haircut, Joe. He's like, those Euro players when they know they got a big game coming up. He came with the fire. How are you?
Is he on mute?
Technology.
Is he on mute? Aye.
Technology. I see his mouth moving. What's going on? Gamo? Oh, damn. Hello?
Yeah.
Technology is failing us there, but let me move on to the next guest. Apparently, we have some vanilla in our midst, as Vince expressively said before the show. This is the first time, guys, that we have a milk on here. Inkomasi, Cremora, you name it. Dweezy Original, how are you doing tonight?
Hey, I'm doing good. Happy to be here. Happy to speak football. Hopefully not hear nonsense come out of Vince's mouth, as it usually does.
We hope we make it out of here tonight safely. Gama, are you back with us? Hello? Can you hear me? Oh, we can't hear Gamo. No? Oh, well, listen, he'll catch up along with us along the way. We are talking the Euros. Started off as 24 teams. We are now into the semi-finals this past weekend, the casualties of the weekend. Belgium, Czech Republic, Ukraine, as well as... What else went out? Oh. I'm struggling. Dwayne, how's the tournament been so far for you?
I generally think that these Euros have been somewhat of the most exciting Euros. I mean, stats-wise, I think just one of the stats, for example, in previous Euros, there's only ever been 9 own goals. At this Euros, there's been 10. We've been seeing goals fly in and out, which is unprecedented, because normally we're used to World Cups where it's 1-0s, 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 1-1s, and now we're seeing 5-3s. We're seeing players perform who we didn't expect to. I think Jeremy Doku in the last game where Belgium played Italy just showed himself to be the best Belgian player on the pitch, and he was playing with De Bruyne and them. So I think it's been fantastic. I think it's just purely been fantastic. The upsets are also fantastic. So.
Yeah, Vince, with regards to what just Dwayne said, anything to add there? I mean, he spoke about a talent that most of us only discovered this weekend in Doku. So that tournaments such as these always, bring out those amazing players, such as the James Rodriguez of the world, back all those years back then. How are you thinking now? What's this tournament doing?
I think that's the juxtaposition that you find yourself when you go and deal with international tournaments, that you are always looking out for that breakout star for that tournament, but then also the complete paradox. You always find the players that you have so much kind of like weight and expectation on actually not coming to the party. So that's a complete paradox that I think we found ourselves in for these specific years. And look, it's really exciting in terms of the goals aspect, and the fact that there's a little transfer window also happening while the games are going on has made that exciting. The fact that there were 3 teams going through instead of 2 in the group phase, that was also exciting. The fact that this could have potentially been I want to say open inverted commas, close inverted commas, the GOAT's last international tournament, that was also a point of contention. So it's actually really had everything. But it's also been very interesting how the teams that we put so much expectation on in terms of getting to the last 4 are nowhere to be found. And teams that have been calling for it coming home for maybe the past 2 decades are essentially there, and I don't know if I can take it. But what a Euros, actually.
Come, anything else you want to add to what Dweezy and Vince have already said? Any more disappointments or any highlights so far that you want to add on to it?
Oh
no. No,
Someone needs
my
to test
heart.
my guy's sound out.
My heart. Shout out to Sandile Malinga. Thank you. And Chad, we saw you down there. We saw you. We don't know what's going on with Gamo, but we'll continue the conversation on his behalf. Dwayne, I want to talk semis, man. Yeah. We are talking semis. It's Tuesday night, 9 p.m., the first semi-final. Whew, what a big game. What a big game. Italy and Spain.
Yeah. It's a first for a lot of people to think of Spain as being very deep underdogs in a match.
Yes.
Which they exactly are. I think this Italian side is so well gelled. They've just got a chemistry to them. They also have this thing that I don't think any other Euro team has at the moment, which is flair. And they're playing like it's playground football. Like Insigne and Ciro and Jorginho there in the middle are playing like it's playground football at the moment. And they're just doing what they need to do. And I think the Spanish, they're not as well gelled. I think they're also going to run out of steam. I think their best player this tournament has probably been Pedri, and he's eventually having to run out of that steam as well. I just don't think they have it in them to survive against the Italians, where you've got Chiellini and Bonucci at the back who are an unbreakable wall at the moment, and they have that Morata. He shoots and he just misses, so there's no goal going to come through for the Spanish. So what do they have? I don't know what they have.
That Morata comment was very personal because we all know what he did for the Blues. I want to take this conversation to you. He added, Italy had this play. Spain are lacking because Spain haven't technically won a game in 90 minutes besides the one game they did. What do you think they need to be doing differently in this semi-final to get over the Italians?
Not looking at an 18-year-old to go and do everything. That's what they need to be doing. Okay. Yeah. I know D says Pedri's gonna run out of ideas, but that's exactly what you give an 18-year-old coming to a tournament who actually everyone believes in. He's not gonna run out of steam. Okay, he's gonna play himself to the very, very last bone. The thing with Spain though is that also isn't really just like you can kind of like look at the highlights. It really is an eye test in the sense that which team was dominating the game? Which team was putting in all the chances? Where were the key passes coming from? Where were the opportunities coming from? Was there space to be exploited within the field and everything of the sort? And I feel that Spain have been somewhat unlucky in many respects. And I always feel like it's gonna take one moment of Spain to just like click into gear and back to Tiki Taka that dominated football in 2008, 2012. But I will absolutely agree and say that this Sport Azzurri team that we've got right now is really, really special. I would go so far as saying this team might be better than the 2006 World Cup winning team. That's how far I'm going to go because look at Bonucci and Chiellini at the back, 5 and 36, plethora of experience. The pace isn't there. But they don't need to be pacey because essentially when you talk about like a defensive juggernaut, the whole team defends, the whole team attacks, the whole team possession, and just it's a flair up front as well. You know what I mean? Like back then it was
they have everything.
It was everything. I look at this Italian team and I fear them. Lorenzo Insigne has always been special, but man, I didn't know he was that special.
That
special. Out northeast. Northwest, it was delicious. So it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting. We don't know what's gonna happen. I feel like I know.
I want to go back to Dweezy because you said something and his face changed. So I want to give him an opportunity to talk about that. What was it that got you, Dweezy?
I don't think this Italian team is better than the 06 team. That's just the one thing I won't agree with. I think that 06 team was fantastic. I just know that I don't think that Spain has the mechanism to be able to pinpoint the weakness in this Italian side. I think after Spinazzola got injured in the last game, it made them vulnerable at that left back position with Emerson coming in. He hasn't had a lot of game time. He hasn't had a lot of experience, on-field kind of stuff. I think it's a position to exploit. But do they have the player to exploit that position? Koke's not really doing anything in the midfield to open up those wide players. You're not having the wide players doing what they should be doing. They don't have a trusted striker in the middle, which means the wingers would rather cut in than play the ball in Morata's or form. So they don't have what it takes to exploit the weakness. I think it's going to be a walkover, and that's all I.
Wow.
Ooh, if there's one thing these Euros have said.
No.
Yeah, we
If
said
there's
it
one
about
thing
the
that
France
you
game. We said that France game was going to be a walkover as well, and then yeah.
Gamo, are you back with us? Hello.
Can our leader hear us?
Oh, well, I wanted to say shout out to Shantae who said Azuri for the win. I want to differ with you there when you said that it's a walkover. If there's something that we've learned about these Euros is that there's nothing like a walkover. You'll be 3-1 up in 80 minutes and you'll go out in penalties because somebody decided to have a lapse of judgment.
We've also seen Ukraine get absolutely thumped by an English side, which Vince says isn't as good as what a lot of us think it is. Where sometimes they just don't have what it takes to beat a stronger team. And with the coming home boys, I think they were able to show that walkovers are possible if the class difference is big enough.
Yeah, what do you think will... Yeah.
I just want to steal it over here. Guys, that England game was literally 4-headed goals. Genuinely 4-headed goals.
Four-headed goals.
Einstein's he's doing the same thing, expecting different results. How do you concede 4 headers? Like, I'm sorry. Like, and also that cringe thing that the Irish fans did in the previous World Cup when they go there clapping. So, like, teams must stop that. Teams must really stop that. Stop clapping it. Stop clapping to your crowd and your fans if you lost 4-0 to an English side. That should not be treating you like a piece of dirt. No ways. But that's neither here nor there. All I'm saying is France have themselves to blame, and I just don't think that Italy or their opponents are going to have themselves to blame. I think they know the gravity of the situation in terms of the semi. So let's see how it goes. It's going to be interesting.
Okay, Vince, since you are so bold in predictions and whatever, how do you see this first semi-final between the Italians and Spain panning out? Do you even give the Spanish a little bit of a sniff at some victory tonight?
I don't give them a sniff. I give them a proper chance. I go purely because I need to go and disagree. This can't be a whole situation of like, us being on the same team. No, I'm gonna go for a 2-1 win to the Spanish.
To Spain.
In extra time. That's what I'm going to say.
I knew it! I knew we were going to go there. Dwayne, do you agree with him or are you coming with violence?
I see the Italians scoring pretty early in the match. Within the first 20 minutes, I see them kicking up a little bit of a storm. But by the end of this game, it's going to be 3-1. I'll give the Spanish a goal because you still can't doubt their quality. But I still see it ending in 3-1. I just don't think that they have what it takes to make it through the semi.
Okay, well, that is the first semi-final. That is the Italians and the Spanish. And then also on Wednesday night at 9 p.m., we have the second semi-final. That is England and Denmark. A Danish side that also struggled throughout the group stages, but God is glorious and gave them all the power from Christian Eriksen and his bed and everybody else that was paying for them. They are now through to the semifinals. I think this team has undoubtedly gone through every single emotion that the Euros can bring. How do you see that game panning out, Rizzi?
Yeah, I admire that Danish squad. I really admire them. They have fantastic tenacity. They're so they after the incident with Christian Eriksen, I think it brought a lot of them together. They're backing each other up. They're also backing the youngsters who have come in. I mean, we saw an absolute gem of a player in like Damsgaard coming through. We see like Kasper Dolberg and them finally shining. Martin Brathwaite even performing beyond a lot of people's expectations because no one ever has expectations about Brathwaite. However, I think that the English side is brilliant at the moment. I think that they filled with a lot of young kids who are hungry. And I always compare them. I'm a very big English fan. I always compare them to the years when there was your Paul Scholes and your David Beckhams and all of them lining that midfield, and everyone was like, that was the golden generation. I just didn't think they had the hunger that this team has. I think you can see from how Mason Mount plays football at Chelsea and how desperate he is to win trophies and all those kinds of things. I think that kind of energy comes through. I think a lot of them are mates. A lot of them are good friends. It's also like playground football. I just think even though Vince mocks them for their headed goals, like I think that's the way they score. You look at the build-up that leads to that headed goal. I think Sterling's positioning in the quarterfinal to get in for his goal, that kind of positioning, even though it's keep on coming in from Luke Shaw, that's fine because that's their route to the goal and it's worked so far.
Yeah, Vince, you heard all about it against the English team. Do you want to differ? Do you want to add? I mean, sometimes, give credit when it's due,
Why must I give credit? Like I'm gonna sit on touchline now.
Be the bigger person.
So now I must apologize for loving the beautiful game. Honestly, I must apologize for liking the slick passes, the passes from the middle of the field, in between the lines. I wasn't get tired of the overlapping runs and the crosses into the box into Harry Kane. Come on now, I'm a football purist. Okay, yeah. Look, I think everybody's second team is Denmark. It is what it is. For all the reasons that Dweezy kind of mentioned. What I will say, though, is that there's only so far that your heart can take you. So emotions will only take you skin deep. I'm sorry. But yes, we rode the wave, the Ericsson wave. And honestly, I'm not even trying to be precocious or facetious about it. Yeah, it's serious or whatever. But it's time for the big boys to kind of like go to the final, and England is one of those big boys right now. So for me, I think the most surprising thing is that England have somewhat done this well without ever fielding their best 11, and that's a little bit scary for me.
I agree.
I
agree.
Yeah, but I also think it's a massive problem right now when you kind of hop into the semis and you still don't know what your best team is. Yeah. So for me, England is going to, if England are not to get to the summit of it, because I don't want to say a walkover, but we really do expect them to kind of get through this. But if they don't actually, based on the team that they do get in the finals, if they don't actually win that, then it's not going to be a matter of the other team was just like that much better. It's just going to be a matter of England just didn't know what their best regimented force was. I think that's our biggest worry. If you've had 3 group games, you've had a round of 16, if you had a quarterfinal and you still don't know what your best team is and you're shuffling guys in and out at this stage, talk to that, I feel. But that's me.
Sorry, dude.
Yeah.
I think that Vince is right. I would give him that. I think that they don't have their best team, but what they do have is the benefit of having the easiest line to the final, which means 100%. In the Ukraine game, they could easily make that change at the back with Walker coming in. They could easily make the change of giving Sancho his first start. They could easily see how he pairs with Mace. They could have played Sterling on the other side now for the first time because it's Ukraine. No shade to Ukraine, but they have that opportunity. It's basically like being able to test your game in an FA Cup fixture, and that's what the Ukraine game was. And then they get to the Denmark game, and it's still not like a major side. Playing in the semi-final against you, which means I think Gareth Southgate, as little ideas he normally has, I think he can still tinker with the squad a bit to try and see where it needs to go for the final. I think they're lucky in that aspect.
But then my question
they're also playing at the Wembley.
Yeah. My question to you would be the reason why, let's say, I'm going to just draw a direct correlation in terms of Liverpool. The reason why Liverpool went on such an amazing 2-year run of dominance of English football, as well as world football in a sense, is genuinely because Klopp didn't have to have those headaches. It was always easy for him to kind of like put out a starting 11 or a starting 11 and a couple of players on the bench, and those decisions were made for him. And so things became less complicated because there were less headaches actually in the team selection. And I feel that now, because of these performances now that maybe Sancho is putting in against Ukraine and whoever's going to go and put in against Denmark, it really, really, really makes that final hump, let's say against Italy, because let's say you expect them to get there, bar the Spanish. Let's say now they do go and play an experienced Italian side that is very well regimented at the back, has fantastic players in the middle of the park, clinical finisher up front. How do you then know what your best starting 11 is, because there's no time for experimenting now. It's the final, but now you've had the easiest road to the final that you haven't actually been tested. Your last test was in the group stages. So how do you essentially then get over that hump?
I think Southgate's issue right now is he's balancing not talent, he's balancing personality, which I think is his issues, because he needs to, as much as people, because it's like people are screaming for Grealish to play, he plays Grealish, everyone's happy, he performs. People are screaming for Sancho to play, he plays Sancho, everyone's happy. But at the same time, he played Sancho, everyone in the Arsenal camp was upset that Bukayo Saka wasn't starting. Everyone, when he decides to play that combo of Trippier in the middle with Declan Rice, decides to play Mace also linking up in that middle combo, everyone's like, where's Jordan Henderson? And then he's constantly trying to balance these English fans who are telling him what to do. I personally think that we're looking to the final, and I just told you the weak spots I feel for Italy are probably down their left back and right back position. That team you played against Ukraine, where it was a link up, it was a perfect link up between Kyle Walker and Jadon Sancho. It was a perfect link up between Shaw and Sterling to exploit those wings, get the balls into the box. Kane and then's going to finish it. I think that's their team. I hope we see that team tomorrow again. I don't hope we change it around. It'll be horrendous for you to try and friends were saying it today, like, oh, he'll throw Ben Chilwell into the left back position. I was like, for what? Why? Shaw's got momentum, keep him going. Why throw it in just because you want to give everyone a chance? I don't see that.
Apparently Chad says Bukayo Saka can sit with all due respect, but Vince, he's going to agree with you on a lot of things.
He's only good for riding that little unicorn in a pool. I don't rate
Hold on. Look,
zero
any disrespect against Saka is disrespect to me, because you can't tell me a guy that starts his first international game for England and runs with a man of the match performance, okay, which we know should have actually carried into the next game. And the unfortunate part was he was injured. Otherwise, Sancho would have never touched that starting lineup. You can smile and grin as much as you want. You know I'm right. Bukayo Saka will
take 5 seasons to do what Sancho can do in our season. That's what I'll leave it at.
My goodness. What, denying a transfer to Manchester United? I'm not going to have this conversation. No, the United fan. No way, hey. Could not me on a Tuesday evening, hey.
I'm a Chelsea fan. Please don't group me in a Man U category.
Something I actually do want to pinpoint is the fact that both of you guys were speaking about the final already as if Italy and England are the ones to make the final. So apparently Denmark is not there, because none of y'all spoke about anything that Denmark could do.
It's a foregone conclusion. Denmark is everybody's second team, but unfortunately the bridesmaid doesn't always get to the aisle. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, Michelle, I hear you. I get your chat. So you heard it here, ladies and gentlemen. Here on the Touchline, Dwayne and Vince do say that the Euro 2020 on the 11th of July, the finals will be Italy and England. I look forward to seeing which team actually makes the final.
No. Before you go there, I never said Italy are going.
He said Spain.
I said
he's backing on Spain.
Spain. I'm backing Spain. Don't get my words wrong. There are two people in there. How dare you?
Let's just say one thing. If you're saying Spain is going to that final, you're basically saying it's coming home. So you should maybe, because the only team that's going to stop the English right now is the Italians. Because if it's Spain, England in that final, it's toast for the Spanish.
Fair. That's a fair point, Vince.
Look, all I've said is that I've always said that the teams have cycles, okay? That Spain had their cycle 08 to 12. Germany had their cycle 2012, 2016. Then France had their cycle 2016, 2020. Maybe it's fucking time for it to come home. Okay, so let it come home, man. Honestly, I'm there for it, genuinely.
All right. Okay, so Vince says Spain is in the final as well as Italy, and then Dwayne believes that it will be an English and an Italian final. Now I want us to touch on the Copa America just a little bit, because that's also a competition that is ongoing right now. They too are also into the semis. Brazil booking their spot in the final just this morning at 2:00. Neymar doing the things, man. He dribbled past 3 defenders to make sure that assist went into the back of the net, winning that game by 1-0. And then tonight we have Colombia and Argentina. Who do you see in the final, Dwayne? Do you think Argentina might just do the things?
I don't. Look, they have the greatest choker tag in the universe. And I personally just believe that it was written in the stars for this Argentina team to play against the Brazilians in the final. I've watched the Colombians I think that personally, the Peruvian side that you mentioned has been splendid. The entire Copa America, the Peru side, without your big name stars, without even like middle name stars. Like, I mean, I can look through their team sheet right now, and there's just not a single big name in that team, but they have played phenomenally. I think if it was the other way around, I think this Peru side would have given Argentina a headache. I just don't think this Colombian side is going to be giving Argentina a headache. I think they struggled themselves to get through to the semi. And I think this Argentina side, Messi, he's showed up to an international tournament finally. And I just think he can walk them to the final. But then the final is its own little cookie to crumble.
That's the thing. I mean, Dwayne does mention the fact that Lionel Messi has been at his best, 4 goals, 4 assists, but also Lionel Messi is also yet to sign a contract because he is a free agent. So that's another thing that's yet to come up with regards to the GOAT. And I'm going to do that because I know I'm going to get chowed on the show. Vince, how do you see the Copa America final panning out?
I don't know why we were not using this word. Honestly, walk over Argentina 2-0, Messi with an assist, Messi with a goal. And honestly, personally for me, love that because I want them to have a small little easy passage and easy little way to the final so I can see Lionel Messi cheers one more time at an international
once again.
Once again. So, I can't wait for the final. Like, this is what we call a foregone conclusion. We know that Argentina are going to go through. But I can't wait for them to go penalties again. I can't wait for Messi sitting on the halfway line again. Tears, crocodile tears, whatever tears, I'll take them. Okay, you're goat.
Vince,
you know,
underscore.
Vince is a hater. If Messi picks up this international trophy, Ronaldo stands have nothing. Because the only thing Ronaldo stands cling on to is that Ronaldo
that he's won an international trophy.
As soon as that trump card is gone, the only trump card they're going to have is, but the Copa America sucks. You know, Copa America isn't as good.
We don't even get to see it.
Ronaldo stands have left.
Not you asking me about the GOAT debate again. Not you asking me who is the only player to score 100 goals in 3 different top 5 leagues. Not you asking me this.
You don't have to play in top 5 leagues to be a GOAT.
Oh my goodness. This conversation, this gone from other side. All I'm saying is my GOAT can do it in different surfaces, different leagues. It's a little bit like the Roger Federer, Rafa Nadal, Novak Djokovic.
And Novak.
And this isn't touchline tennis, but all I'm saying is if you can do it in different places, different expectations, with different people around you, in a different environment, and let's not even talk about the commercial aspect. Listen, God loves me, and I was born with gifts as well. Honestly, obviously, God loves Lionel Messi, and he was born with those gifts. But I'm sorry, but Cristiano Ronaldo's made those gifts on earth, and he will forever be my GOAT. And no one can tell me otherwise.
Yeah, that's fine. He's your GOAT. Messi's my GOAT.
And let's keep it that way because Chad also feels that Brazil will be losing to Argentina in the final. But as you guys know, since Touchline and Copa America started, I've been saying that every time Brazil has hosted the Copa America, they've gone on to win it. So that's another statistic that we're looking forward to. But tonight's semi-final, we do have Argentina who take on Colombia. That game will kick off at 2 a.m. South African time. But then now we move on to all the recent transfer, all the news that is currently trending right now. Let's start off with the Patrick Vieira one at Crystal Palace. We have a black manager in the Premier League, everybody. I am so happy it's official. They've announced it. Here we go. Dwayne, how do you feel about that signing?
I think Patrice has shown he's got managerial prowess. I think having a little bit of a stint in the French league, managing there, he did a fairly good job. I think coming to Crystal Palace, I think it's a better place for him. I think we've seen managers fall before when they decide to come to the bigger clubs. So we saw Frank Lampard fall under that pressure. We're seeing Mikel Arteta falling under that pressure now at Arsenal. I think this is a good opportunity for Patrice also to basically play around with the squad and develop a kind of a philosophy around football that he wants to create around football. I think he's also got some players in that Crystal Palace side that are decent enough. I mean, that Palace team is rather shite most of the time, but I think they're decent enough to play around with, to create something with. I think it's going to be a good showing. I think there's going to be expectations on him. I think people are going to be harshly criticizing him. You mentioned he's the first black manager, which means everyone is going to be pressurizing him to succeed as the first black manager. I think he'll be able to cope with that.
Oh, wow. Vince, please read that broadcast there at the bottom of the page, right? Because you are shocked.
Breaking. Barcelona cannot register any new signings after exceeding the La Liga salary limit. No Sergio Aguero, no Memphis Depay, no Eric Garcia, no Emerson until they reduce their wage bill by 200 million. Wow.
It's just crazy. When it rains, it pours in Barcelona. Yes. I am not shocked. I'm not shocked. That is crazy.
I was so focused on what you were saying that I read that article.
I missed it as well.
Perplexed, vexed, and perturbed all at once. So, oh my goodness. This is
nuts.
When we talk about domino effects, this is exactly when I thought that Lionel Messi was staying. But now when you talk about domino effects,
I've seen that.
Yeah.
I think they can't afford Messi to sign now, because if they want those players to come through, it's only likely that they have to keep Messi off the wage bill.
Yes, exactly.
My question though is that wage bill that's exceeded by 200 million, is that already with Messi included, because now he's a free agent? Have they kind of taken that into account? But that's homework we'll do after the show. But that's
I think they don't anymore. Yeah, depending on when that article came out. I mean, his contract ended on the 30th of June. Today is the 5th of July. That is breaking news. So that means Messi is technically no longer on their books.
Love our production team for bringing up that article, by the way.
Yeah,
shout out. Let us actually continue with the transfers. I mean, as you can see, they've been signing people left, right, and center. In the Premier League alone today, Guendouzi left. He went to Marseille. He's there on loan for a season. I don't know how Vince feels about that, because I don't know which team he supports anymore these days. Do I have to wait for August to find out whether you're blue or red? Or
it's a little.
Should I jump in before we get to the Griezmann? I mean, before we get to what you're saying about Guendouzi, because I'm actually reading an article now where Barcelona's offered Antoine Griezmann to Chelsea, and they've scheduled a Charlton meeting to happen soon. So I think they're trying their best to actually reduce. I think it's without Messi on their wage bill. I think they can't get any of their people to do it.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, what did Griezmann call in Barcelona?
must be nice to be a Chelsea fan. Hey, you guys are living, hey. But
Guendouzi to Marseille.
Oh,
Guendouzi, Marseille, yes.
Well, Bile is being shady though, because we're all waiting for Messi to go and see where he's gonna go and sign. Why can't you go and wait for me to go and see where I go sign? Okay, if you can wait for Messi, you can wait for me.
That's what I was asking. That's what I asked.
Listen,
should I wait till August?
Hypothetically speaking, if I was supporting Arsenal, I really wouldn't care about Matteo Guendouzi, because he doesn't even make my second team. That's all I'm saying. Hypothetically speaking, if I was an Arsenal fan.
And Leeds United have also made a couple of signings, finally making sure that Jack Harrison actually is a Leeds United player, because he's been on loan there for 3 seasons from Manchester City. He penned down a new deal. He's now officially a Leeds player, as well as also getting another player that is Junior Firpo from Barcelona, 24-year-old fullback. Leeds are not playing this season. How do you think they're going to pan out this season, Dwayne? Have they learned from their past mistakes, or are they going to keep letting those goals go in as they did last season?
Yeah, I think Leeds signing Firpo, he didn't show much quality when he was at Barcelona. He also didn't have much opportunity when he was at Barcelona as well. I think this is a moment for him to possibly show some quality, if any, he has. But I just don't see this Leeds side pushing further. I think a big signing. I know Eliaski hasn't decided to sign a contract with the Leeds team.
He didn't sign it. He's leaving.
Yeah, he was a very fundamental part of that back four as well for that Leeds squad. So it depends on how Marcelo Bielsa decides to use these new signings to fit his kind of like philosophy he has with that Leeds squad.
Yeah. Vince, where do you think Leeds actually needed to strengthen with regards to the team they had last season?
So that left back position, Alioski, I thought was amazing. I think he left back the captain. and wears a number 10 jersey over, Cam or your strikers, I think that boy has to be a little bit special. But I personally, like, Leeds kind of remind me of Brendan Rodgers of Southampton in the sense, in 2014, 2015, when Southampton were hot and they came into the league. But what you've kind of realized, your so I say your first year in the Premier League can't be that hot. It's about your sophomore performance as well, the second season coming in. And I don't particularly think that with Leeds, it's actually about where they need to go in regiment. High fast break. I don't think about how just to go and put a little cloud burning. Fast break.
You couldn't just say high coke. You had to be fast break as the entire team.
Her name is Lady Fast Break. But yeah, so I just think that it's not a matter of like where they need to go in strength, and I just think it's a matter of taking the experience into next season. It's about Marcelo Bielsa not being naive in his ideas, because Marcelo is also he's not a very reactionary manager. He's more proactive. No. But in the Premier League, you've got to have a balance of being proactive as well as being reactionary to what another team is doing. And I feel like he's been a bit naive in his tactics at times.
Also, the one thing that I noticed about Marcelo Bielsa, he had to see, because I get to watch the championship because I have Sky that comes to my place. And the one thing was the championship. No, it's just because UK connections, But the one thing with the championship is when Bielsa was playing with that lead squad in the championship, they were phenomenal because he was unapologetic about his style of managerial. He was unapologetic about fully researching the teams, even if it goes as far as the Spygate. He was fully sure about exactly how we technically break teams down and how we technically play. And he sort of lost a little bit of that coming into the Premier League, because I think when he suffered a few losses in a row, or if he suffered a few hiccups here, or he suffered a few injuries, it's almost like he was scrapping instead of just being like, let's just go and play the football. I know how my team should play football. I think he just needs some of that Marcelo Bielsa charisma back, and I think that Leeds squad will be safe this season, but I don't think they're going to be causing upsets like they were doing.
You can't come to someone's house and misbehave. Invite us so nicely, we hold the gate open, and then when you start telling us how you cabbage, where are you going? You stay away. And then another transfers rather, that I want to end Touchline off with, it is a PSG getting all those signings, man. PSG is not playing. I don't know what it was about last season, but they're not playing. We're all still waiting that Sergio Ramos move. It hasn't been made permanent. We don't know what's happening there, as well as the Hakimi move as well. How do you think PSG are going to pan out, especially Vince, in the Champions League? Because we know that's the one trophy they are all pushing for.
Honestly, PSG, guys, we all know if they manage to keep what they have up front, and now having regimented how they have in terms of, because with PSG, it's really not about, the players on the field. They're just lacking one thing, and that's honestly just the experience in being able to get over that final hurdle. I feel. I think if you're looking at Neymar and you're looking for someone to go and galvanize the team, I don't think Neymar is that person. I think Neymar's one who's going to give you brilliant moments on the pitch or whatever. But if I'm looking for a leader, after losing Thiago Silva as well, but now facing in Sergio Ramos, come on. You know what I mean? Now personnel there are familiar. You have a coach from Spurs that I'll go and discuss another day, but that I feel can get them over the line. But I do feel that if they don't get it done, and I actually fear for PSG, because I feel like they've had, Mbappe for, and I wouldn't even say they haven't had him for his prime years, because Mbappe's prime is still going to be in years to come.
It's still coming. But, that's scary. Yeah, it's so scary.
But what I do. But I mean, is it even scary if he couldn't even perform in a international tournament? Conversation for another day. But I will go and say that if they manage to go and, because Mbappe is a little bit of a worry right now. He might be leaving Parc des Princes.
Yeah, because he hasn't signed a new contract.
Exactly. Neymar's there. He's inked himself down. There are rumors of that guy from Argentina, but we'll talk about that for another day. But I do feel that if PSG keep what they have right now and bring in what they've just brought in right now, that side is going to be dangerous. No one needs to go and trade in for Idris Gueye. He's amazing. Verratti in the middle of the park, amazing. Yeah. If Rabiot goes in, well, Rabiot's not the Rabiot fled over to Juve, obviously. But
I mean, Verratti's
it's going to be interesting next season.
So,
it's going to be interesting. Yeah, big fan of PSG. Now that they have Neymar down, they've got an amazing personality in Ramos and leadership there. So there's no reason why they can't get over the line.
And fight.
Besides the Spurs.
Dweezy, you have a question there. You have a question.
Yeah, I support Chelsea. But let me add to what Vince was saying about Paris Saint-Germain. I think the one thing they were also lacking last year, and it showed with them losing Ligue 1, I think it showed with them not being able to reach another Champions League final and possibly win it, is that when their superstars like Kylian Mbappe or when Neymar decided to go on a goal drought, they didn't have anyone to actually pull through properly and secure the bag. I think they also need to be more sure in defense. I think Ramos gives them. I am still to this day extremely angry that Achraf Hakimi is not in a Chelsea shirt, because if there is any player. No, but if there is any player who plays in that left back position or that left wing back position, who is able to not only make sure your team scores, but also contribute to that tally himself, it's Achraf Hakimi. And it's what he showed in Inter Milan for that entire Serie A season last year. The moment at which you saw Lukaku maybe going off the rails or Lautaro Martinez going off the rails, Achraf Hakimi said, "Don't worry, I'll deliver." And that I think is so valuable for a squad that sometimes struggles or has an over dependency on 2 or 3 players, because I think that's what PSG has. Those players, it's almost like, we don't really have to shine out of ourselves because Neymar will kickstart. But when he doesn't kickstart and you're not playing as well, who plays?
What happens?
And I think Achraf Hakimi can do that.
Okay, let me give Michelle a chance, because you can see Michelle is shying away in the corner. Let's give him attention. Yes, Michelle.
Listen, I'm so sick and tired of being a side piece here. You guys are having a conversation by yourselves. Okay. Hey, to answer the question, too many egos in PSG? I might think so, but apparently the right manager gets rid of the egos and he managed to unite a dressing room. I'm not too sure if the Spurs manager. I'm going to always refer to Carlo Ancelotti to what's him called Patch as the Spurs manager, because he hasn't done anything to go and deserve that job. But at what stage, you Chelsea fans, because you know when someone feels out, like in a podcast, it's me right now, because you guys are both Chelsea fans and you guys are busy stroking each other over Chelsea. Guys, at a stage, you guys need to also talk about how it's tiring. You guys really want to buy everything. Everything. You had 5 signing.
Yes.
Rest. I'm speaking. When you'll know when to speak. Okay. Last season, you guys brought in 5 players. Pardon the French, or pardon the Francais, 5 fucking players, guys, that literally started your Champions League final, genuinely. And then now you're going to come on here and tell me that the player you need is the player to replace who you bought last season in Ben Chilwell. Man, come on.
No, but Achraf Hakimi can fluctuate. He can move to the other side.
No.
He can play on the right wing.
No. What you guys are not going to do is you guys are not going to come here and go and say Manchester City is ruining football because all they do is buy players. Then PSG are doing the same. Then this team, you guys are literally every single season. Oh, who's that? A starlight, a star. Let's go and buy it. Guys, we're tired of Russian money. Come on now, dude. Let's get the same. This is why fast break and Tasha need to amalgamate. We need to have a salary cap because we're tired of Chelsea stealing everything. When you guys don't win a league, you go down and buy it. I'm so sick and tired of it. I'm speaking as neutral, not even an Arsenal fan, but I'm tired, guys.
It's just because they don't have Arsenal doesn't have pull in the transfer market anymore. That's the only thing. We have players who actually want to join our club. Improvements.
I would go and rather win the Champions League than win the EPL to go and answer you, lady fast break. It doesn't matter where they end up in the Premier League. They're winning the damn Champions League. They won the damn Champions League twice this decade and the Europa League once. I'm tired, guys. Fuck. Champions League twice.
Get that stat right.
Once. Come on.
Yes.
It's tired.
Get that stat right. Gentlemen, to end off the show, I want us to talk about something that we all can agree on and something that we are all proud of, because Thembi Kgatlana has signed a new deal with Atletico de Madrid. she signs from Ayabar on a 2-year deal that will see her being in Madrid until 2023. This woman is phenomenal. She's incredible, and she's had such a lovely season at Ayabar. I look forward to seeing her journey in Atletico Madrid colors. And with that said, that is how we end off Touchline here tonight. For everybody that started the podcast with us, that is Chad and the likes of Gamo, thank you so much. You know, we hope we didn't waste your Wi-Fi. And for those that stay till the very end, that is Mr. Vince __92. Thank you so much.
Shane, I low-key enjoyed this.
And to our new vanilla friend, that is Dwayne Original. That is Dwayne Funvake. What are your Instagram handles again?
It's just at Dweezy Original, Dweezy J Original on Twitter. Yeah.
There you heard it here first. That has been the Touchline here tonight. Please do enjoy the games that are coming up. It is the first semi-final tonight. That is Italy as well as Spain. And in Wednesday night's semi-final, it is England and Denmark. Until we meet again from the final on the 11th of July, my name is Oarabile Diphoko for the Touchline. We're out.
It's coming home.